So let's get right to it. I mean, to all my peers back in Dwayne Reed, especially, and to some of the peers that I caught in between, because y'all wind up being toxic, y'all wind up showing yourselves as time progressed, whether male, female, or person. I don't care what y'all doing with y'all fucking lives. Okay, listen, like, um, we literally address the same things, like Niggertry, death, all the things are the things, right? And the difference between you and me is that I never included a man. I never included a man in any of my hip hop addressery, meaning I addressed gangs and I instantly said no, which made me come out the closet even more as it catapulted me. You already know the story with that. I addressed it with guns, right? Um, you already know the story with the sandbox, and it links to a gun. Like my brother came through one in his trunk as like literally my late teens, early 20s. I was going to show discipline and I was scared to even touch the box because it had death in it. Okay? I literally aligned with the devil, Carly, who was never swift enough. Okay? Sometimes you got to doubt the devil because this is when God will always be swift and God will always be the devil to it when it comes to showing discipline, whether with their two hands or with death in their hands. Okay? All this and me selling CDs and my actions getting bolder as time progressed, no man had anything to do with that. So I'm good. Now, to the star of the show, which is guns, like, I'm sorry. I'm gonna let y'all know a little bit about me. Like when I was 7, I visited my dad's side of the family up till maybe up when I was 10. Right? Me and my brothers was playing in my grandpa's house or whatever the case is. Without saying much, I guess one of my uncles scared us with a gun and we ran out the room. That's all I'm going to say. Right? Honestly, within that as well, I literally had my first cup of Heineken between 7 and 10. Okay? One of the uncles that I don't know who they are, whatever, But yeah, I was already immersed in Niggertry. And when I moved to Soundview, right, with my mom and them, um, the Sandbox nigga solidified my spot in Niggertry. Literally up until the point where I had no choice but to go to the shelter. You already know the story about between me and the Sandbox. Um, the Sandbox nigga was literally my only link to the streets up until my late teens and early 20. However, in between that, I was already selling CDs, and then my actions became bolder once I had no choice but to go to the shelter and clearly pray to God to spin the block on the Sandbox nigga. So, with all that being said, I was already immersed in Niggertry, right? I'm just talking about vices alone and brawling when God took over, as he started taking over again back in 2020. I could have immersed myself with death. I'm talking about guns and all that gotta shit, right? However, like even back when I was 10, 12, and all that, if I wrote a gun rhyme, it was a lyrical gun rhyme. It was not really like what you would say. It was not a literal gun rhyme. It was literally, I still remember what I wrote in 5th grade or even 6th grade, as I keep my verbal gun and cock. So with that, the big brother's gun, which comes from my emotion, which is also my logic, been brought to life since way back then. You know, what's new to y'all niggas has been old to me. So me addressing or glorifying, I wasn't glorifying because even way back when, I really never saw myself holding a gun. And then you already knows. And then when it was time to show discipline, you know, when it came to the sandbox, and the opportunity presented itself when it came to death, I basically said no. You know, I could have immersed myself with death. However, I chose life as God ordained it. And I'm definitely, as I will always be rational with God's universe, right up to God Himself, who has immersed Himself with death. I'm talking about guns, knives, okay? The more time progressed, the more I immerse myself with life more than death. However, I was already immersed in niggertry from vices all the way to brawling. The thing is, with you peers and Dwayne Reed and some of you classmates and the peers that I caught in between, and I don't care what none of y'all do with that y'all fucking lives, because none of y'all were for me, and if y'all was for me, y'all was gonna wind up being fever that came with peace. I'm saying that to say this. Um, y'all should have fuck around and shot in the video games. Okay? Because a lot of y'all have the same truth as me, except the difference between you and I is that with all of my adjustments and my actions, right up to my bold actions, a man will never have anything to do with it, as a man never did. So I pray for my community. If you was given a choice of life and death, like besides your two hands, and you are scared to hold death in your hands, that screams something. And I pray for y'all to choose life. Thank you.